Welcome back. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about sourdough and how it works. On my first video, I showed you how to make your very first sourdough starter for potato flake sourdough. It's different from the traditional sourdough starters. This sourdough starter is actually gluten-free. It doesn't require flour. The sourdough reacts with sugar and potato flakes, and you add water to it. And from that, the natural yeast that's in your air will help your starter have the elasticity that it needs to work with your flour. This is a sourdough that's been in my refrigerator for a couple of years. You're going to need to feed your sourdough about once every 10 days. And I have enough bread business. People are always requesting cinnamon rolls, dinner rolls, sourdough loaves, savory loaves. So I have several starters in my refrigerator. So when you're ready to make your bread, you can't come into the kitchen and make it today. It's a process. You're going to have to wait because there's a natural fermentation that happens. And that natural fermentation, it's going to help you digest your bread, and it's going to make delicious bread for you and your family. So this is a starter that I've just taken out of my refrigerator. And I cover it with a lid with holes in it because your starter is alive and it needs to breathe. So to this, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of potato flakes. Make sure the ingredients in your potato flakes only has dehydrated potatoes. You don't want to have all those other chemicals going in your sourdough bread. You're going to add 3/4 cup of white sugar. And then you're going to add 1 cup of water. Some people use warm water. I just use regular water right out of the faucet. I have well water, so there's no fluoride, no chlorine in my water. So this has got to be stirred quite a bit to get everything really well mixed. You want to use a wooden spoon, or you can use a rubber spatula. You're going to stir it, and it looks pretty plain. You're going to stir it and stir it. Again, this sourdough starter is 2 years old. And I've been using this tried and true recipe for over 7 years. When I first started, I only had 1 or 2 starters in the refrigerator, but now I'm up to 6 or 7 in there because again, I make so much bread for our family and friends. So once it gets well mixed like that, you're going to cover it loosely. At this point, I don't cover it back with a lid. I'm sort of afraid how much it's going to bubble. So I'm going to cover it loosely. And there again, I use coffee filters because they fit right on it like that. You're going to cover that, and you're going to sit it out on your counter in your kitchen for at least 12 hours or overnight. If you feed your starter in the morning, you don't want to mix everything into it until late this afternoon. If you feed your starter late this afternoon, you don't want to mix your flours in it until the next morning. You want to wait overnight to do that. So it's as simple as that. The starter I showed you on your first video, when you're ready to feed it, take it out of your refrigerator, and then you add the ingredients that I just showed you today. Stir it well, cover it, and then go put it out on your counter. After you fed your starter, when you put it out on the counter, you're going to need to let it sit there. Don't stir it, just let it sit for at least 12 hours. Sometimes my kitchen will be a little bit warmer, and I can get by with about 8 to 10 hours. Sometimes my kitchen is cooler in the winter months, and it may take 15 to 18 hours to get it nice and bubbly in that jar. So you just want to practice it and look, and you'll need to get your starter nice and bubbly. I have one here that I took out and fed last night. And if you'll see, you get all these bubbles on the top. And your starter is all down here. It smells, sometimes it'll have a little bit of a smell like a strong fermentation. Sometimes it smells like alcohol to me. When I take it out and I mix it up, even before I put flour in it, when my grandchildren are over at my house, they say the kitchen smells like bread when I'm doing something with a starter. You can also put your ear to it and you can hear it bubbling. So you know it's live, active, and ready to add flours and your other ingredients to, and it's ready to go. So it's as simple as that. Just adding the potato flakes, the sugar, and the water to your already created starter, and then stirring it and letting it sit out on your bar for at least 12 to 15 hours, depending on the temperature in your kitchen. And then you're ready to start mixing your own bread at home. I'll have a link to the recipes in case you need the ingredient list that I've provided for you, and a step-by-step process. I think that's always helpful. When I first started this about 7 years ago, I would look at my step-by-step process every day. Now I walk into the kitchen and I pretty much know where I'm at, how much I need potato flakes, how much sugar I need, and then the different kind of flours that I usually use to make my bread. If you're enjoying learning how to make sourdough starter using potato flakes, sugar, and water, press the like and subscribe button and follow me as we learn to make more recipes together. We'll be making cinnamon rolls, loaves of bread in the future, and if you're enjoying this, I'd like for you to be a part of it with us. We will be expanding, and I'll be showing you some other foods that I make for my family and friends. In the next video, we're going to use our starter that's already been fed and activated. We're going to put the flour to it and our other ingredients, and we'll be ready then to form our loaves of bread, form our cinnamon rolls, or our dinner rolls. So stay tuned for that. So earlier today, I took a starter out of the refrigerator and I showed you how to feed your starter. So it's been 10 or 12 hours later, and I just want to show you what the starter should look like if it's active. You should have a lot of liquid on the bottom, and then you got a lot of fuzzy foam like on the top. And if you're ready to use this starter, your next step is to stir it with a wooden spoon or a rubber spatula, and then proceed and make your dough. And we show you how to make your dough in the third video of the sourdough process. You can also test it, and you can hear it bubbling, so you know it's active.